So forgive me for a second as I do some media talk with Greg Cody, who I know cares about some of the same things that I do and makes a distinction between what it is that he does for a living and what, for example, something like Zaz, what Zaz does for a living when it comes to priding yourself in being a journalist. Okay, when I said earlier in the show that the media is dead, it is not dying, it is dead. What you're seeing happen with billionaires being able to change something as historic as like even CBS News or the fighting of late night hosts or the undercoverage by the mainstream media of Trump's NSPM 7 labels, common beliefs of terrorism indicators to be anti-Christian, anti-American, anti-capitalism, get very little reporting in the mainstream press because it's broken. Closer to home, I've seen a mayor in Miami recently shamed by social media because police officers were sent to someone's home for having an opinion on Facebook. And we're living in some times where the media matters and your ability to get credible reporting in places that are now compromised. We're going to see it all over the place and much smaller in sports. So I want to put in front of you some sound from a heartbroken Ariel Helwani who's listening to Max Kellerman. Now, Ariel does one of the most extraordinary jobs I have ever seen in the history of the sports journalism business, where he is bringing ethics to a sport that has none, to an industry that doesn't, to a sport that doesn't want him around or respect what he does. He's still built an empire amid a bunch of cavemen because they know he's always interested in the truth and incredible fair reporting. He's an extraordinary journalist, even though he doesn't have the traditional training. And so he's listening to Dana White's boxing telecast that features Max Kellerman, and he's listening to a panel of boxing analysts who should be the best in the business, and they feel bought by the way that they are shilling a product that's not worth it, because Dana White, as you've seen, has some power, and the billionaires can now push around media. Dana White's been trying to do this to Helwani for a really long time, physically being threatening to him with him and his goons because he doesn't have an appreciation for what Ariel Helwani does. And now his sport's going to the White House because the platform works. If everyone's fake news, everything is less real. He's accusing a hero, Max Kellerman, a legitimate hero, of being bought and paid for by the Dana White promotion because of how he's shilling on behalf of a product that Ariel Helwani has the credibility to tell you. That's substandard. What you're watching is not matching the words coming from one of my heroes. So listen to Ariel Helwani on his own show going after somebody. He doesn't want to go after Max Kellerman. He's admired. Max Kellerman is a hero to Ariel Helwani as someone who was on boxing cable newscasts at 14 years old talking honestly about the dirtiest sport.
What the hell happened to Max Kellerman?
Yeah, I had a feeling that.
What the hell happened to Max Kellerman? There was once a time early in my career where I was telling my parents, I want to be the Max Kellerman of MMA. There's a way to be appreciative about the opportunity. There's a way to hype it up without shilling and going over the top. When he starts the broadcast saying that he has literally been waiting for this moment his entire life, to have someone like Dana White come in and save boxing, it feels over the top. When he starts the main card saying the same thing, he said the same thing twice, it feels over the top. When throughout the broadcast, he is continuously talking about TKO and Dana White and Nick Khan and all these people that he has close personal relationships with. Nick Khan was his agent. I get it. He's appreciative. That's his guy. I get it. The loyalty. I appreciate that. I get it. You can do that without going over the top, without sounding like a shill, without hurting your credibility. When you compare Callum Walsh to Roy Jones Jr., you are hurting your credibility. He was the guy who would get up there and give you a soliloquy on HBO Boxing and tell it to you like it is, to see this form of him. And now I know he works for a promoter, but you could still kind of be that guy and work for the promoter. You could still do that. This is over the top. This is over the top. And dare I say, unlistenable.
So Helwani, I don't think people realize how hard it is to do everything he's done in his career, but specifically, he just called the Jake Paul fight and added a credibility to it without impacting any of his own, without undermining a production that was an actual scam. Ariel Helwani gave none of his integrity over to what was a circus event of nonsense without anyone impugning Ariel Helwani on the job he did. He's unbelievably qualified to say what he's saying. I did not see what happened with Max Kellerman. But when he makes the accusation, I simply believe it because he's the one making it, and he doesn't want to make it against Kellerman. He is being appalled watching somebody do infomercial on behalf of sports. And I'm asking you, as people in this room who know I care about journalism, there are a lot of silly conflicts, right? Greg Olson shouldn't be calling a Carolina playoff game, but I don't mind. It's a silly thing. I also don't mind what Tom Brady's doing. Don't care about that sort of stuff. In this sport, which is the dirtiest, which has a history of Dana White's wandering over and using all of the people involved as labor so that he can get drunk at a blackjack table and lose hundreds of thousands of dollars while not paying his fighters. To see Ariel Helwani come after Max Kellerman surprised me, at least in part because he doesn't want to do it. What are your thoughts as I tie a whole bunch of things together on the journalism of it, Greg?
Well, what is Max Kellerman's relationship financially with Dana White? That's the only question that I have.
He's being paid to do that event.
Ariel
Okay.
is being paid to do the Jake Paul event too. That's not, I mean, Ariel's not working for free. Journalists don't work for free.
I understand, but if Dana White in any way is paying Max Kellerman, then Max Kellerman has probably an obligation to put the best possible slant on whatever he's talking about.
Are you good with that though? Are you good with all
No.
of it being an
I don't
infomercial?
think Max is a journalist in this scenario. I think he's an analyst who's a television personality and approaches his job differently than Ariel. Now, I did not watch the broadcast. I certainly don't know enough about boxing to seize on the comparisons he's making as being ridiculous, nor do I know enough about the boxing business to doubt whether or not Max Kellerman is actually grateful for someone like Dana White trying to come in and shake things up. It did surprise me because those are two guys in the fight game that have a respect, and to see them squabbling like this publicly, well, it's just one way right now, is surprising to me, especially since Ariel kind of laid it out like you can do this to a certain degree. And throughout my mind, the entire time that clip was going, I was like, this is lofty coming from a dude that was around a Jake Paul fight, but he did toe the line.
I think that Max Kellerman is entitled to think more of Dana White than you do, to have a better opinion of Dana White. But if there's a financial relationship there, then Max Kellerman stops being a journalist, stops being an independent journalist.
Okay, but look, Max Kellerman is incredibly credible on boxing. And no, he's not allowed to think that Dana White is going to come and save boxing. That's not a credible opinion coming
been waiting
from
his
somebody.
whole life.
Like, that's not credible.
Right.
That's not...
I don't know enough about it. Like, if Max Kellerman tells me that, I listen.
So can you think both things? Can you respect Max Kellerman and think that he's not entitled to think more of Dana White
Well,
than
when
you do?
Ariel Helwani makes the accusation, how can you not arrive at the conclusion, given what I just set up for you, that Max is bought and paid for, even though I don't have the facts to tell you whether Max is bought and paid for, and I, like Mike, am ignorant about how all of this came down. I'm believing Ariel only because he's the one making the allegation and because I know he doesn't want to be making it.
Yeah, that's it for me. Like, I totally believe Ariel, everything that he's saying there, because it'd be like if I came out and I was really offended and upset with things that Eddie Vedder said. You would, even if you didn't know anything about what Pearl Jam is doing right now and you didn't see the clip, you would know if I am coming out and I am being critical and I'm hurt by the things that Eddie Vedder said. You're probably going to believe my stance there because I don't want to have this opinion. The same way that Ariel probably does not want to be saying
Ariel
these things.
Helwani is watching that, excited about what the broadcasters are going to do with the opportunity, and he's telling everyone who doesn't know better, hey, all of this smells fishy.
Is it safe to apply the scrutiny that Ariel has this ongoing thing with Dana?
Probably plays a part.
And that this is more about Dana.
That's who he's
and-
actually going
And he's
at.
just disappointed that someone that he's looked up to is aligning himself with Dana and throwing some praise on him.
So we can talk to Ariel about this because I'd argue that Ariel aspires to objectivity even when it's hard. Ariel doesn't tell willingly the stories of how Dana White has bullied him. He's aspiring to an objective, fair journalism standard.
Right, but
It's
we're
why-
aware of him.
But we are aware of them because he's been asked questions where biases would appear. But the part I'm telling you that very few people have an appreciation for how Ariel Helwani has done that job in that particular gutter that doesn't want him there. Dana White has never had any use for how Ariel Helwani does his job, and Ariel Helwani bends over backward to be 1,000 times fairer to Dana White than Dana White ever considers about being fair to Ariel Helwani. Ariel Helwani, first and foremost, cares about the combat sports. After that, he cares about how they're presented to the public. And he smelled bull. And he smelled bull bought with the credibility of Max Kellerman. And it disappointed him. And he brought that to our attention. And I'm asking the rest of the audience, do you care at all? Do you care about any of this? Or is it just, Max is a television entertainer. Who cares whether he's bought and paid for? I don't care. I just want to enjoy my sport with the very credible Max Kellerman lending his name to it.
Can I ask you, if it wasn't Max Kellerman, it's any other boxing analyst in
He's
that
the best.
spot?
Max,
No, I get it.
Max
I get
is
it.
the best.
I get it. But would Ariel, even if Ariel felt that what Analyst X is saying is paid for and he's being a shill and this is unlistenable, would Ariel even be talking about this right now? And the reason I'm asking is because it's just especially hurtful to Ariel because he loved Max Kellerman.
And boxing.
It's just not surprising to me that if Max Kellerman is on the payroll of Dana White, that he would be very complimentary to him. And if I'm putting it on a local level, if you're paid by the Miami Heat or any other local team to be a broadcaster, naturally you're going to be pro-Heat. Or your contract says I can't be critical. I understand that.
That is not true.
Okay, so
Like, I might be pro-Heat, but there is nothing in any contract anywhere that says I can't say anything.
Okay.
I want to make that abundantly clear
Okay.
to everyone in the audience.
Just implied.
if you were suddenly became the critical guy, would you hear from the Heat about that?
I don't know. I've said critical things about individual players and where they've been at with their front office throughout this season, and I
that's
haven't
great.
heard a word.
Good for you. I'm glad.
Okay, but that's not, you just accused him of something and then
No,
just
no,
gave
no,
him a
no.
good for you.
No,
But it
I-
is different. I understand what Greg is saying, which is to say, like, obviously, like, I come in with a different slant as being part of that team broadcast.
And
I try my
understandably.
best to take that hat off when I'm here, but obviously my involvement changes the way that I break down the game.
Did you just
The
physically
difference
take
is
off a hat or glasses? It looked like you took off Okay, you took off a
hat
hat
from
okay.
here with two
okay, the
hands.
hat.
I should have done it by the bill.
Does
Can
the
we take it
hat
off by the
have
bill?
like the two drinky cups in it that you can have with the straws,
I
or
wish.
what's the hat look like?
I was thinking maybe like a top hat.
Okay, yeah.
It's a fascinating discussion. I wish I wasn't showing my ass on it. I don't know enough about these things.
Okay.
Like, I find it curious that the two people that I have immense respect for seem to have an issue here, but I don't feel comfortable weighing in. I don't know jack about boxing.
I think that if Pablo Torre was the example here, right? If Pablo joined a team broadcast for, say, the Clippers, and then all of a sudden Pablo was spewing all sorts of positive information about Steve Ballmer or about the Memphis Grizzlies owner because he was joining the Grizzlies broadcast, that would be akin to what Ariel is trying to say here with what's going on with Dana White. This is someone who is an independent, respected
Right.
With Max.
journalist within boxing with Max.
Yeah.
Right.
He is someone who was independent and respected, and then he's now lending his voice to a bias. It's not he started through that process and then became independent, and I think that's the disappointment that Ariel is talking about. There was a standard that he expected, and now he views that Max is bought and paid for, and that's the disappointing part, specifically when it's someone like Dana White.
There's a credibility and a benefit of the doubt that we're extending to Ariel too, just because we know him a little bit more than Max on this show. Not you, Dan. I do, but like I don't even know the boxer that he compared to Roy Jones Jr. and how that's offensive. But if Max wanted to turn around and say you lended your credibility to that program on Netflix, I'd sit back and be like, whoa, that seems like a pretty good counterpunch.
Yeah, but he didn't do it this way. And when Ariel is filing this criticism, evidently we have some sound here that
Ariel
is being
hosted a
put
show.
in the system of Max Kellerman responding to this. But I'm going to, I'll move off the subject in a second because I really don't think people care about this. the way that we do or I do, but I do care about boxing. I do care about how labor in that sport is forever contaminated and corrupted by how dirty the entirety of the sport is. And I am also bothered that the wife-punching Dana White is going to the White House now as a political figure of great power as he helps run Paramount, which has been running into the ground because they need young people, and now have a news department that you see what it's happening to because the media is susceptible. And hold on a second, Mike, before you come in here, because I want to get. I'll talk to Ariel about this.
I was just going to file an objection gratuitous.
I also love Max Kellerman and admire Max Kellerman, and have never heard him accused of anything like this by anybody credible. Never mind as credible as Ariel Helwani. And he's leaving ESPN after a couple of years in a dying climate where he's teaming with Rich Paul and Dana White for whatever it is that his next steps are, because the media has died in a way that the Washington Post isn't sending baseball writers to spring training. That was a champion a few years ago. The Nationals were a World Series champion that's not being covered by the Washington Post beat writers this spring training. And I don't think anybody cares about what it is that's happening when it's going to be harder and harder to discern between Ariel Helwani, Max Kellerman, and anyone else you care about in the media. Hey, who's bought here and who isn't? Like, that's my larger concern. I'm just using these two guys as avatars. I love the both of them. I respect the both of them. I know the both of them. And I find shocking to see two people of this kind of credibility, Ariel this kind of disappointed. I find that I do legitimately find it shocking because he's going at the very top of the food chain. Max Kellerman is as credible as anyone who has ever talked about boxing. Period.
And is he entitled, though, to have a financial relationship with Dana White? Or does that make you just totally write him off as someone not worthy of your respect? I don't know the answer to that.
All right, I'll try and get Max in the next couple of days. I'll try to get Ariel. Let's just listen to what Ariel is saying. Is Max Kellerman excessively gushing? Let's play the sound of that where people are. Now, Max, understand what's happened here, and I've not talked to Max about any of this recently. I've been trying to get a hold of Max, and so I don't know that these recent steps in Max Kellerman's career are interesting because ESPN paid for Max Kellerman to go away for a while. And so he did not talk sports for almost 2 years, paid for by ESPN. ESPN tried to do the same thing to us. I was worried about sitting out that amount of time and having the media change so much that we would be totally irrelevant if it was 2 straight years of silence. Max Kellerman, in what is a dying media climate with fewer and fewer of these jobs available, pops back up with Rich Paul and Clutch, and I believe that's a Ringer production, right? That's a Bill Simmons production, and pops up in select boxing promotions. And here's him talking about this fight. Let's listen to the sound.
I have literally been waiting for this, for right now, my entire life, since I was a little kid. There's never been a major league of boxing. It just hasn't existed. Hey, you know what they should do in football? Million football leagues. You're talking about the NFL. You're talking about Roger Goodell. You're talking about the NBA. There is no they in boxing. There never has been. Hey, you know what they should do in MMA? You're talking about Dana White and the UFC. It is a brand that you know and trust. When you sit down and you watch a UFC event, you know the investment of your time. It was time well spent. And that's what we are hoping to do here at Zuffa Boxing.
What are you laughing about?
New edition.
I didn't even hear a word he said.
The music?
I was just cooling it now.
You were too busy jamming?
I wanted to go roller skating.
Just wanted to hear Tess's voice.
What a booth. I'm going to watch that.
That was Ariel's point. Ariel's
a
point in
great
that
booth.
clip is just this booth is like as good as you can put together in boxing, and then they're just losing credibility.
Thanks for putting it on my radar. I think I'll catch the next card. You just like it when guys fight.
I will try to ask some of these questions in the next couple of days of Ariel Helwani because he was put off by it in a way that took me aback. Also taking me aback, speaking of sports media members, Stephen A. Smith has suggested that the Steelers should have hired Ryan Clark. Now, can you guys tell me? I'm paraphrasing here. I don't have the sound in front of me. It was fairly shocking, I believe, to see Mike McCarthy hired by the Steelers, even though we heard his name involved. No,
I don't know. Let's say shocking. I mean, Mike McCarthy was going to get another job. Like, he's had success. He's won a Super Bowl, and he had several 12-win
Yeah, Brian
seasons in
Billick
Dallas.
won a Super Bowl too,
Yeah.
and it's weird to me. Brian Billick had John Gruden's resume, and it's weird to me that Brian Billick hasn't gotten a second chance, while Mike McCarthy, who is benign and is easy to rehire, ends up getting the job. But you make what of Stephen A. Smith saying that Ryan Clark should have had a shot at that job with no experience in head coaching?
I don't understand. I don't understand how that's serious. But I think Stephen A. was being serious. He said it yesterday on First Take. He said it right to Ryan Clark on the show. Said, I think the Steelers should have given Ryan Clark a hard look as head coach. He's never been a coach.
It's a shot to his credibility, if you ask me.
He's never been a coach. He's never coached. I don't understand.
I've never heard Ryan Clark referred to as a head coaching candidate or on
'Cause he's
anybody's
not.
list or anything else.
Oh, but you guys say
You just
he's-
said this with Philip Rivers.
You guys say he's not, but Louis Riddick, look, man, this is funny, right? This part's interesting. Diana just gave away the game earlier very quietly when she said, I'm not calling anybody this time of year. I'm getting the calls. People want to hear come out of my mouth, this is a candidate. And some of this is lazy enough to, hire Louis Riddick every time. And I'm not disparaging
But
Louis
he's worked
Riddick.
in the front office,
No,
hasn't he?
But yes, but he's just on television. Like, hire the broadcaster who's on television because that's someone who talks football, and therefore I think he's more famous than the other guy who might have had an assistant coaching job at Wake Forest.
But I've heard Louis Riddick referred to as a potential NFL head coach in a way that I haven't with Ryan Clark.
General
that's all.
manager. General manager,
GM.
not head coach.
People have no idea how much this is driven by agents, how the people making the decisions are rep by agents that also rep coaches. And if an agent really wants a client to become considered a star in that coaching rank, they will be. They will be a head man.
That part is interesting, having seen it from the only agent I've ever had repped coaches and got James Franklin that deal and helped Urban Meyer get those deals and he was running a business that just helped these guys become important people. But as it relates to the Ariel Helwani sound, very quietly in the middle of that, a name that no one seems to care about that he threw out as part of this cabal that runs with Dana White is Nick Khan. And these guys have in the wrestling program and the combat programming the things that Paramount wants. They've got young men. These guys are running a cabal. Nick Khan ran ESPN, got tired of using Nick Khan was basically the person who was producing all of the ESPN talent that Skipper was hiring. And then ESPN stopped doing that. And then the both of them went elsewhere. I mean, because Nick Khan used up all of Bristol. And Nick Khan is
Ariel was
responsible.
rep by Nick Khan.
Nick Khan, I don't think that people hear in that sound that what Ariel is saying, that Nick Khan is the middle of a cabal that now is Netflix wrestling program. Nick Khan is a beast in the business. I don't think anybody knows that. I don't think that
Has been for decades plus.
multiple decades, and moved from taking all the money from ESPN to saying, oh, it's new now. Let me run the WWE and let me run Netflix and let me run Paramount, because all of these institutions don't actually know how to get young people. Nick Khan does. Wrestling in the combat sports. Have them fight. Fake or real? Have them
Call him
fight.
fake. You're fake.
You excited about Royal Rumble?
Oh, my God, am I excited. Riyadh, Saudi, Royal Rumble this Saturday. Come on, Greg, get excited. It's the road to WrestleMania. I'm very excited for Royal
Yeah,
Rumble.
what's wrong with sports washing? Let's hide our blood money in fights. Let's do it. Nothing wrong with that. We all love Saudi Arabia now. Tennis matches, golf tournaments, put them all over there.
Sources, per Adam Schefter, the Bills are working to finalize a deal to make offensive coordinator Joe Brady their new head coach.
Woof.
Internal.
Woof.
Interesting.
Back to Royal Rumble. Dan, what do you think? Who do you think comes out of the men's Rumble? Give us a pick. Come on.
I thought that they were going to go magic creative content when Cody just started wandering toward
We might. Yeah.
bone sawing journalists.
Right. I have, for the record, not with that at all. But also, like, my view of, like, all the Saudi thing, I think they've effectively flooded the zone there, is also like, where am I coming from, really? Where's my moral high ground as an American to be saying they're not doing something right? Got to clean up my own house here a little bit.
I don't get my morals from WWE. Like, I know what I'm into. It doesn't offend me. Like, it is what I can separate the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I get people who are mad about it. I understand, but I
Oh,
can
you
separate
get
the two.
mad. You get why they're mad about the bone sawing of journalists, and
Yeah.
why America
Yes.
also doesn't have the high ground.
Yeah, we're also
Yes.
treating journalists
He
pretty
understands
poorly here. Not quite bone sawing yet, but, we are killing protesters
Yes.
these days.
Fair comment. Yeah.
I think the days of us looking down on our nose at other people
That's what I'm saying.
has been gone.
Mm-hmm.
And by other
doesn't this
people,
suck?
I mean wrestling fans.
Why is Greg Cody smirking? I don't know what you're smirking about. Is it that you're delighted by your own Saudi Arabia
He's excited
opinion?
for the Rumble.
Is it because you don't want to talk about wrestling and are laughing at Zaz? The smirk on your face when I keep saying bone sawing of a journalist is weird to me, and is part of how it is we're all complicit in the sports blood washing of the money.
Right. Well, it used to be an outrage, and 5 years later, it's not. I'm smiling at just how far we've come on that. And part of it, I think, is what Mike just said. He's not wrong. I mean, we have enough problems in this country where our moral high ground is not nearly as high as it used to be or should be.
But you pranced around with a rhythmic gymnastics ribbon of just a second ago,
Right.
Virtue signaling how appalled you are by it, while also profiting off it because sports makes money for all of us.
I still believe what I said, and it's just not the collective outrage that it was. I mean, when Live Golf
That's because the sports washing of the money was successful.
right.
That's why.
I know, and
They bought what they wanted to buy,
Right.
which is the extinguishing
Right.
of us always talking about the bone sawing of a journal.
Right.
You can't follow certain mainstream sports without having to watch something emanating from Riyadh or Jeddah.
Agreed, because that's where all the money is. I get that. Tennis, golf, wrestling, all of it is over there. It doesn't mean we can't condemn it. It doesn't mean that it's okay.
But it's not really condemnation, though, the way that's not what's happening anymore. It's been successfully sports washed. Like now, this just came to comedy recently, and a few people weren't aware of what the ramifications would be. That Bill Burr among them. That a whole bunch of people, as Chappelle does a new special where he's explaining. Well, we've killed journalists in Palestine as well. He said, makes the joke, I thought we weren't counting anymore for it, making the same point you guys are making about America has no moral high grounds here. But it's been successfully sports washed, the blood money, over the last 5 years. We yelled a lot about Liv and Mickelson and then just stopped doing it because the money, the
Brooks
oil,
Koepka, welcome back.
The oil money did buy everyone off. Everyone got bought off by the oil money.
It's so American to silo Saudi Arabia and judge them. We just had Pablo on, who was reporting on a story about how the owner of the Memphis Grizzlies is involved in Russian drones. We got to look at ourselves here a little bit.
Okay, so let me bring it back to that for a second, and forgive me because I do know, and the audience has made it known at every turn, and this is a bit conflicting to me because I also know that the audience rides with us because many people do care about the stuff that we're talking about and funding. Because the work that Pablo Torre is doing is good, it's expensive, and it's not anything that anyone else in this space is doing. When I ask Pablo and us, how do we get that Hunter Brooks story in front of people in a way that isn't as easy as, oh, look, Kawhi and the Clippers might have done this, or sports gambling might have this, things that everyone can understand. When I make it war against foreigners that is literally life and death, and I present to you, how do I get in front of people on ESPN? Hey, the Memphis Grizzlies owner, like we talk a lot about John, who they're benching, and just bullshit. The Memphis Grizzlies owner, through 6 months of independent journalistic investigation that is harder to do today than it's been at any time by Hunter Brooks, How do I get that in front of people and make the sports media talk about something difficult, because the debate shows aren't going to do this one?
Editorially, though, if that comes across your desk, yeah, we may put a blurb on there, but I don't think there's going to be interest in that. You're going to have far more interest in where John Morant is going right now, because when people go to their stories about the Memphis Grizzlies, they're looking for a departure. They're not looking to be reminded of how bad things are. Oh, here's another bad thing, so I can get further depressed. Yeah, I can think about bone saws, or I can think about how Rusev is going to do in the Royal Rumble.
Roman Reigns plus 175 to win the Rumble. He's the favorite, Dan.
It's not, journalism's not supposed to be ideally governed by how do I get the clicks. It's supposed to be governed by how do you follow truth in the name of facts pointing out to people injustices. It's how it dies. You do realize.
How do you amplify the truth? Because the truth is out there. Shout out to the X-Files. But Pablo is reporting on that. These things come across newsrooms, and an editor will sit with his staff and parse whether or not they run with it, whether or not it's a 30-second blurb on their NBA studio show or a feature that they do.
For me, it's okay. The Grizzlies owner is committing a crime of morality, perhaps. But
well, hold on a second, though. As alleged by Hunter Brook, and it's not. It wouldn't be merely a crime of morality. The way that Pablo set this up, I mean, we're talking about aiding with war crimes. It's not. It's not just a crime of morality.
Okay, but what is the in a report like this? I always wait a heartbeat for the repercussion. Is the U.S. government going to do something about this owner? Is Adam Silver going to do something about this owner?
Adam Silver.
Are there any parameters whatsoever
Greg,
governing what owners can do?
The only way your questions get answered is if the journalism gets amplified.
Obviously.
Like it can't just be we skip past this 6 hours from now because it's the trade deadline talk. You have to keep putting this on Silver's desk.
And I didn't say that it wasn't. Don't act like I'm being adversary here. But I'm saying, what will the repercussion be?
You're sitting it out as somebody who's got a journalistic platform saying, I'm going to wait for Silver to handle it. I'm asking you, how do we get this amplified? Because it's difficult work to do.
I hope the Miami Herald follows this up and puts it on their front
that's
page.
Not fair. Yeah. He's doing the exact same thing you're doing. What you're doing isn't huge suffering. You're saying someone talk about this. He's co-signing.
No, I'm actually trying to fund the work with everything we're doing around here.
Understood. That's different.
And I'm legitimately asking you guys the question of how do you keep this alive when you're going to tell me, people aren't that interested in it. And I'm like, they kind of should and need to be.
Right.
That's the importance of the work.
Right. I would like to think the U.S. government has an interest in this report.
That's hilarious.
You can't.
Yes, this U.S. government caring about helping Russia. This administration?
Here's the problem. This is the problem.
Adam Silver's more likely to punish him than the U.S. government.
I'm not disagreeing with you, which is sad. I mean, ostensibly, we're pro-Ukraine in this war that Russia instigated, but we also know that Trump has a relationship with Putin that, dare say, is a little bit cozier than we'd all like, perhaps. So what's going to happen?
I was really filled with qualifiers that are unnecessary.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, the way the standard has been dropped so that you have to end into those waters with a relationship with Putin is maybe close. It's a relationship with Putin. He's like trying to take over. We've gone really soft.
Dan just used the move that I use with my daughter whenever she questions anything. I'm like, hey, I pay for everything around here.
You own nothing. Such a good move.
Okay.
You own nothing.
Yeah, shut me up.
We pay for. No, look.
The royal we.
Trump has also had meetings with Zelensky in the White House. Ostensibly, we favor Ukraine in this war. That's why I think the government needs to do something.
Look what you got him doing now. You're proud of yourself? Look what you got Greg Cody doing. You got him talking about Ukraine. God.
Gunther plus 200 to win the Rumble.
Breaking news out of Fort Lauderdale. This from Jordan McPherson of the Miami Herald. Tomas Nosek, Jonah Gadjevich, Dmitry Kulikov, and Alexander Barkov are on the ice today.
That's what I'm talking about.
Doing stick and puck drills following the Panthers' morning skate. We are
Honestly,
closer to
didn't
being back.
appreciate a lot of those guys are champions. Could have just led with Barkov.
That's the news I've been waiting for.
Got excited.
Well, Barkov's the punchline.
There it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
What do they mean by that? How long till he plays?
Probably another couple of months.
You know what that means, Dan, right?
Second round of the playoffs.
You know what that means? It's bad news for the rest of the league.
He said a couple of months. Did you hear him say
we'll
probably
see.
a couple of months?
It's all
We'll
happening.
see. But before the playoffs, before the deadline.
You think?
Before the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's good.
About to trade for Panarin.
That's good.
He said second round of the
Do you
playoffs.
think it's going to be
round.
AJ Styles'
love
last
Panarin.
match? I'm not ready to say goodbye.
I think AJ's going to win.
You think he's going to win?
I think he's gonna
and
win.
let all the air out of this Gunther thing?
I think Gunther then wins the Rumble.
But wait, no, he's like this legend killer. He can't retire John
If
Cena
he
and then
wins
be like,
the Rumble, he main events WrestleMania. Nobody's going to care that he lost AJ
no,
Styles.
he needs to be a believable monster that also retires Brock Lesnar. He can't trip up against the undersized heavyweight.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
What exactly is a Herbie?
Well, the Herbie is what we was skating in the dark that night, where you start at the goal line and you sprint to the first blue line, stop, sprint back to the goal line, out to the red line, stop, back to the goal line, out to the far blue, stop, back to the goal line, all the way down, stop, all the way back at high speed. 45 seconds you got. And if you didn't do it in 45 seconds, took you 48 seconds, you were doing it over and over until it was 45 seconds. The guys from Minnesota, they used to do that same drill when they were playing for Herbie in college, and they had nicknamed that drill Herbies. That's what he had the guys do in Norway after we tied them 3-3. That was 45 minutes of that. And the reason I know it was about 45 minutes because I didn't have to do it. I was actually standing on the bench next to Herbie as he was barking at everybody, and the guys are doing it out there, and then they turn the lights out, and it was a great scene in the movie. So I got to stand there and watch those poor bastards.
Woo, lucky you.
Happy New Year, everybody. 2026 is already getting off to an incredible start because you want to know how I rang in the new year? It was with a bunch of friends in a Dallas hotel lobby bar ordering a bunch of Miller Lights because that's how you do it. That's how you make special memories. Miller Lite has been by my side at many special football memories this year, and hopefully we get to write a few more memories with Miller Lite. Some of my most legendary moments have started that exact same way. A buddy's house, a lobby bar, a game, no big plan. And then you crack open a Miller Lite, you take a sip, and you look around, and you immediately recognize that you made the right call. You're locked into the game, the conversation, the moment, not thinking about what you're drinking. Miller Lite just fits. Clean finish, refreshing, brewed for taste with simple ingredients like malted barley. And at 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, it never weighs you down. Legendary moments start with Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Against the Spread is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Roy, what do we got?
Utah Mammoth at the Florida Panthers tonight. The Panthers have lost 4 of their last 5 games at home as favorites and failed to cover the puck line in 6 straight games when playing with a rest advantage. Utah is on the back end of a back-to-back. Florida hasn't played since Sunday, and the Panthers have also failed to cover the puck line in their last 5 games versus the Central Division. None of that matters tonight because Magic Tkachuk and Brad Marchand are together again. Go with the Florida
What do you mean
Panthers
again?
tonight. Well, again, because they just returned.
Second
Brad
time
Marchand-
ever.
Yeah, second time this season. So
Ever.
go for the Florida Panthers tonight.
Not
They're
this
the favorites
season.
at goal.
Hold on. You
Ever.
just did again. Roy, you're our hockey expert. The Hockey Show is a big interview with an 80s legend. You're our hockey expert. Well, you can't just say again like that when people don't know, listening to this, that Marchand and Tkachuk played their first game together ever last game. That's not something that's known by the general audience.
Yes, two games. Yes, against the Spurs.
That's shocking information to tell.
Well, that's why I meant again, because it's the second time this season against the Spurs.
Greg, what do you got?
Can I do the same game?
Sure.
Well, you're
You're gonna bet that you're.
Yes. No, I'm doing the opposite bet. The Utah Mammoth.
We can't.
We're due for a winner.
Red hot.
Wait a minute. You can't do that.
It's a guaranteed win.
DraftKings is too good a sponsor for you guys to just pick both sides
giving
of
out
this
a pick,
game.
and then we go to our other area.
That's asinine. I'm not doing that.
I'm going to pick a draw.
Utah Mammoth 8-1-1 in the last 10 games.
No, just leave. No, I'm not. What? That's not, you can't sponsor a segment in which you take both sides.
Why?
That's your gambling advice is to take both sides. It's ridiculous.
Guaranteeing somebody's going to win.
I'm taking game to go to overtime.
DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Get out of here with that. That's just ridiculous. We
Literally
have to do
or
better.
figuratively?
No, I'm fine with him leaving. Yes, that you can't do that to the sponsor where you guys are just taking both sides of the game and it's an important sponsor and that's stupid. I'm not doing that.
I like the Suns. Oh, can't tell us
Juju is with us. He was not with us yesterday, and so he missed a conversation that I'm sure he's been dying to have with us for a long time. And Juju, welcome to the show. And what corrections do you have to make on football movies? Because I'm sure we discussed it very poorly yesterday.
You brothers did the best you could, man. Nobody did anything poor. I just have my own take on the top 5 football movies in the history of the world that I can think of.
All right. So any OLI, or we're going straight to the top 5?
Yes, sir. We got an OLI, Facing the Giants. I didn't even want to watch this movie, but I started watching. I'm like, this is some bull jive. And then, like 30 minutes in, I am crying. It's just emotional. It is inspirational. These little kids love the Lord, and let them celebrate it. Hope they win every time.
Number 5.
Any Given Sunday. I know y'all boys like to get to that lunch. So let me get you. Number 4, Remember the Titans. Number 3, Boys in the Hood.
Wait a minute.
He was being recruited by
Yeah,
USC.
but that's not a football movie. That's a good movie. But
That's a
not
good call.
football.
That's a good call.
Football is a
Ricky.
subtext. And Dan has seen Free Solo, and he will explain to you every chance he gets. He understands subtext.
Number 2.
Gridiron Gang.
Good one.
And number 1, of course, The Blind Side.
Story was a total lie, according to the people.
Yeah, but it stars
involved.
Juju.
Exactly. But I'm in that movie, so best football movie ever made.
Do you have any Shador opinion since you seem to be wearing a Shador jersey?
Come on, man. I got a couple questions for y'all, Zaz and Greg. What was the score for last year's Pro Bowl game?
No idea.
Exactly. Let that be an example. Folks start getting mad at stuff they don't even care about when they don't like you. You guys ain't never gave a damn about the Pro Bowl. Let us have this one, can we? The Super Bowl is that way. We're over here with our wrists up in the sky. Let us have this one. A hater don't give a damn. A hater wants to see you fall. And if you wake up in the morning hating on someone else's success, I got news for you, brother.
Put it on the poll, Juju. A hater don't give a damn. A hater want to see you fall. Yes or no? Zaslow, do you have, before we get to the polls here with Juju and before we get to an incident at Costco that I want to talk about with Juju, can you give me your opinions on what's going on with Giannis?
Oh, Giannis on the verge of a full heel turn. Full-on heel turn. Like, he's been dropping breadcrumbs, He'll say things about his teammates after the game, which has never been his MO. And now, word is that Rich Paul is trying to recruit him, is trying to steal him from his current agent because Giannis got close to firing his current agent because he's not close enough to a resolution as far as a potential trade before the deadline. Rich Paul recruiting Giannis, it's like when Paul Heyman recruited Roman Reigns. That was the full-on heel turn. This is a very, very comparable scenario, what's going on with Giannis and potentially Rich Paul, Dan.
The Rich Paul part is really interesting because if it's going to happen, it really has to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. Because you have to send a memo to the league about your changing of agents, and that new agent can't operate for you for 7 days. The trade deadline is next Thursday. So we're in a space where if this is going to happen and that back channeling with Thanasis Antetokounmpo that apparently was going on behind the scenes, it would need to happen maybe before we started on our show tomorrow. And then that would really be the domino effect that starts kicking things off for this potential trade deadline, because there are tons of huge names and huge contracts that could be moved, all associated with what happens with Giannis.
Let's start the clock on the trade deadline, which is next Thursday. Juju, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think his time is up in Milwaukee, man, no matter what. Once you start having your, like Zach says, his heel turn publicly, then I was like, uh-oh, the clock is ticking. Even though you love that, you know, the Bucks have signed your brother and then signed your other brother and then tried to get you help. You don't want to mess it up with them folks, but you really want to cheat on this relationship. And so I think it's over. The final straw to me was, brother, you hurt yourself during the game, then you're going to self-diagnose yourself after the game. Oh, it looks like I'm going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. They're probably going to tell me that. Like, what?
I heard a lot of people, though, saying the argument was being made by the most credible people that injury probably precludes him from being traded, right? Wasn't that if not the consensus opinion, did you not hear that more than you heard the reverse?
No, I mean, I asked Amin straight up yesterday. He said it makes no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, most people are saying it doesn't make a difference, that it's worth keeping an eye on. It's several calf injuries over the span of the last year and a half, and calf injuries aren't normally a sign of a good thing with a guy over 30. We've seen how that's worked out with guys like Kevin Durant and others, but Giannis is one of those players that you take that risk and you bring him in. And even last year, the Luka trade, Luka, Maxi Kleber, and Anthony Davis were all on the injury report and not playing in games when that trade happened. So as long as the physicals go over the way that you anticipate with your doctors, someone being out at the given time isn't really something that matters.
We'll get to the polls here in just a second, but Juju, what happened at Costco that you were faced with a moral dilemma of some sort?
Oh, man, it's a story from the line, from the net. I wanted to get you brothers' opinions. Now, we understand that things in Sacramento isn't as winny as we would like it to be over the past decade or 12. So they've started selling their tickets for the games within Costco, within like a bar at Costco. So I wanted to ask you, fair or foul selling your tickets at Costco?
So the Sacramento Kings are a way station for all the players that nobody else wants. It's Russell Westbrook. It's DeRozan. I thought Sabonis, man, it was just 2 years ago. This team mattered. Like, what the hell?
LaVine.
Zach LaVine is another one. Sacramento Kings selling tickets at Costco. How are we feeling about that as an NBA product?
I've never been to Costco.
What?
Are you kidding?
What?
I've never stepped foot in a Costco.
Do you know how wonderful they are?
BJ's guy?
No, I just told you I've never been.
Well, okay, but have you heard reputationally how wonderful the warehouse savings are at Costco?
I don't know.
Most people like Costco, right? Most people aren't going to say anything bad about excess.
It's almost impossible not to like
You
Costco.
do look like a Sam's Club guy.
You'll have the best time ever.
Never been.
I don't want to buy a pallet of paper towels. I don't want to come home with.
This is not the time to be.
You guys are anti-Costco?
It's the best.
I don't know people who are anti-Costco,
Yeah, the Codys,
Sam's, BJ's.
I never did that growing up. I've gone with friends. I've been there. I've been in these places,
Never
but the
been.
Codys were like
It's
never
a
had
warehouse full of savings. It's a warehouse full of excess.
Or you buy too much stuff and you end up not using it.
That's crazy. You guys don't know how to shop.
Living my life.
This is on you. This is your
I
own
don't know
misgivings.
people who are anti-Costco.
You do know.
Who's anti-savings?
Me. I buy one roll of toilet paper at a time.
I feel like Dan might be being a Costco fraud here. I don't see you going to Costco.
My father, no, well, okay.
Valor.
If stolen valor from my father, who has had a Costco card since 1999.
The shoes there.
My father, the number
Costco,
of times.
the shoe store, buddy.
I got my first pair of glasses there.
What is the longest you could be a proud Costco member? Because I may have started the Costco card a little early, but the number of times I've caught my father with an endless supply of cashews that he has bought because, wildly unhealthy. Cannot imagine how bad it is for my father to eat 7,000 cashews in his car. Because you can't buy, you got to buy a tub of cashews if you're going to buy them.
Everyone who goes to Costco, they always brag. Go to Publix like a normal person.
Where shopping is a pleasure.
Hot dogs can't be that good there.
I love BJ's.
I think shopping is more of a pleasure at Costco.
I've heard they do have a good double chunk chocolate cookie.
I don't want to need a card to go to a store.
My father, the
I don't wanna
lunch
be a
at Costco,
member.
my father comes home with
Also, chicken bake.
hot dog breath because the hot dog.
It was
is an
my
amazing
grandmother's
value.
favorite thing in the world. When we wanted to take her to a nice lunch, we would take her to Costco to get a hot dog. That was her favorite
What is the
thing in
oldest
the
a
world.
That's a nice
Costco
lunch.
card can be before we get to the polls here?
1983.
Okay, so yeah, my father. If we called my father right now, he would proudly display his Costco card. I wasn't even making him impressive by making it a 1999 card holder. Let's update the polls here, Juju.
If you want to be a champion, can you see your family?
Oh, from yesterday. Nice.
87% of the audience says, no, you cannot. Over with. Did you know that Mike McDonald spelled his name with a lowercase d? 86% of the audience says, no, they didn't.
These are from yesterday, and I love these updates the next day. We should do more of this.
Yes, sir. Does propositioning a sex worker before the Super Bowl take you out of the running for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award?
Where are we at now?
71% of the audience says, yes, it does. Dang.
That means more people think no now. Because I think as of yesterday, it was at 74%.
Good.
Can you name 5 good football movies? I mean, we just saw that. 51% of the audience says, yes, you can. Dang. Is Any Given Sunday a good movie?
No.
59% of the audience says, yes, it is.
Number
More
5.
people leaning no now. It was 63% yesterday.
Number 5 on Juju's list of top 5 football movies ever.
Did you enjoy watching the Broncos-Patriots game? 69% of the audience says, no, they did not. Nice.
It's also increased.
Does Jerry Maguire count as a football movie?
No.
55% of the audience says, yes, it does.
Wow, huge drop off. As of yesterday, we were at 62%.
Also, 2 quick side note I just thought of while we were doing the show. I know you and Shit Stain got an ongoing beef. I get it. But we're not Crips and Bloods, brother. Keep it between y'all. Not everyone who works for shit. Nah, because that means everybody who works for you gets the other end of the stick. I won't have it. People who work for them, you get a pass.
No,
but Shit Stain,
no.
you're still a Shit Stain.
No. This shit stain remains a shit
I
stain.
remember meeting a couple of his workers at a Super Bowl once, and you know,
Right.
we had a moment.
Yeah, and Mike loved Will Kane. You can be wrong.
Is the program a good movie? 60% of the audience says, no, it is not. Dang.
Idiots.
Best movie, Friday Night Lights, Jerry Maguire, Remember the Titans, or The Longest Yard, the original. And also, Dan, side note, you only get 4 slots on these things. I know you wanted 8, but 4 slots is the way it lets us
Okay,
go.
I got it. Do better, Elon.
61% of the audience says, remember the Titans.
Huge
And we got a
shift.
couple posts from today.
Huge shift. It was at 50% yesterday.
In the interim, yeah, and the program took a wild swing as well. Let's put up Juju in the blind side. This is a much thinner Juju.
how
Juju,
skinny
this
he
is a
is.
Juju.
Whoa.
Come on, man.
I didn't
Guy's
even.
packed on
but
muscle.
I've never known this Juju. That Juju this skinny is not a human being I've known.
Yes, sir, bro. I was 167 pounds soaking wet up there on the porch, cussing out Sandra Bullock all day. The director was like, just let her have it. Just act like she's in your hood, you know? We was calling her all type of B's, H's, C's, and then they decided to use it as a PG-13 movie and cut all of that. So
C's.
I had my yes. Are there more good football movies or more good hockey movies? 72% of the audience says hockey movies.
Yep.
And last poll, I got lost in the sauce. There's a lot going on. Is college football for Saturdays? 97% of the audience says yes, and those are your polls.
Mario Cristobal. Nice job by Mario Cristobal. Just saying the truest of things. Yes, college football shouldn't be on Tuesday. Well, that Mac action. The Mac action.
Thanks, Juju.
Thank you.